Honey, we're back with Unit 8B Grammar the Passive. And now please welcome your host for the for the tonight, Mr. Phú Sĩ. Welcome all of you guys to our next episode of a show Learning English with Say, and so happy that we're back tonight. It is Saturday and you can feel all over your body, and it is Saturday. Yay! And yes, welcome to the show. We're back after a week off, and it was hard to tell that we're supposed to be doing the show last week, but seems like everything goes wrong to me because I had a lot of work to do last week, and also on Saturday and Sunday, so I cannot spend the time to talk with you guys. Spend the time talking with you guys. So hope you guys will forgive me. Not forgive me, but you have enjoyed the two rebroadcast episode. It is, what is it? The episode of the unit unit 8A about the past getting work, getting from A to B. And one more lesson that was from the Blue Week that I did in the last week of the summer Learning English will say. And those two episodes were both watched, both worth educating. So you have enjoyed it. And now tonight we'll move on to the new section of the Unit 8. It is the Part B. Part B, it is grammar. Grammar, we talk about the passive. Alright? So you may have heard this word before. The passive. You may have learned in your school. Yes. And this is, if you learn this carefully, you will easily know how to do this. How to do the exercises about the passive. So open your books into page number 75, ladies and gentlemen. So now we'll first take a look at the reading part. Reading part right over there. There's a text. Okay. So later, after we read it, after we read that text right there, we will see. We'll take a look at the words, the phrases that are colored in red. So we're gonna talk about them. Alright? So now, let's read it. In the 1860s, a two-wheeled bicycle with pedals was built by a Frenchman called Ernest Machos. Other kinds of bicycle had been invented earlier in the century, but Ernest Machos' invention in velocipede was easier to ride, and thousands were sold throughout Europe from the 1869. Over the next few decades, several improvements were made, like tires were fitted to the wheels, and later a chain was added to the pedals. More recently, bicycles have been invented with pedals at the front and a seat with a backrest. They're comfortable to ride, and they are fast too. Bicycles are more popular today than ever before. About 18 million new bicycles are manufactured every year in China alone. In cities around the world, cycle lanes are being built and cycling is being encouraged by the government. It is possible that in 10 or 20 years' time, cars will be banned from the city's centers, and only bicycles and pedestrians will be allowed. Okay, so we have read through it, and for the last sentence, it said cars will be banned from the city centers, and only cyclists and pedestrians will be allowed. Okay, maybe like that, but it is even more okay than the news I've heard that the government in Vietnam will replace every vehicles we are driving now, like motorbike. They will replace motorbike by buses. Okay, by buses. All right, good thing, good point right there. No more smoke, less smoke, but in the small streets, how can you ride it? You go through the citizen's house. You go through it. What happened to your brain? You replace bike, motorbikes by buses. Okay, by buses. So if we see right over here right now, there are a lot of motorbikes. Yes, but if you said that you will replace, you will put buses for transportation. Okay, now there will be not what is it called, traffic jam. There will be not traffic jam, but even more traffic jam than ever than this. Okay, so change your minds. All right, just say like that as polite as I can. You know what to do. Change your brain. All right. First, if you say that you replace motorbikes by buses, please first replace your brain by this. All right. Put this into your mind. Into your mind. Yeah. It's just a bonus. Alright, so we have read through the text and also a little discussion about replacing motorbikes by buses. So, okay, good. And so now, like I've said before, we have read through it. So now we will see. We'll take a look through the words that are colored in red. Example number 1. Other kinds of bicycle had been invented earlier in the century. Alright, so you might know this before, that just don't mind the word been right over there. B-E-E-N. Don't mind it. Just take a look at had and invented. Alright, had invented. So it is the past perfect. It is the structure of past perfect. Had plus verb 3 or verb ed. So that is the structure of past perfect. So you see the subject over here. It's supposed to be other kinds of bicycle had been invented earlier in the century. Earlier in the century by who? By a Frenchman called Ernest Machos. Alright, so it's supposed to be Ernest Machos had invented earlier in the century. Alright, had invented bicycles earlier in the century. So they have changed the subject of a sentence and replaced it by the object of a sentence that is other kinds of bicycle. Other kinds of bicycles. So I'll talk clearer about this later in the part 2 of the show. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.